Hello, Cool family. Feel free to like and subscribe to the channel to stay updated on everything about Barça. In this video, we will discuss a huge bombshell at Barça. But before that, I want to address other equally important topics for our beloved club. Let's move on to the first one. Barça continues to refine its sporting project with the seriousness and ambition that a club of its stature demands. With an eye on next season, the moves in the offices aim to strengthen key positions that, for various reasons, have raised questions during the season. One of them is undoubtedly the goalkeeper position. The long-term injury of the starting goalkeeper has been a significant setback, and although the club responded effectively by bringing in Wojciech Szczesny during the winter transfer window, the situation of the Polish goalkeeper is surrounded by uncertainty. Despite his good performances, the contract extension has not yet been finalized, which has led the sports management to consider new options. Among all of them, one name has emerged with strength and attractiveness. Emiliano Martinez, the Argentine goalkeeper, has been directly proposed to the Blaugrana club, and his potential arrival has begun to spark a wide debate among supporters and analysts. The case of Emiliano Martinez is not just any case. We are not talking about a player proposed by an agent without foundation. We are talking about an established goalkeeper, a world champion, who has demonstrated the composure and personality necessary to handle the pressure of big matches. And most importantly, he has expressed his desire to play in Spain and, in particular, his interest in wearing the Barça jersey. At 32 years old, Dibu feels that his moment has come. After several seasons as a protagonist in the Premier League, he considers it time to take on a new challenge, one that will allow him to compete for top-level titles on the continent and be part of a club with true European ambition. In this sense, Barça represents a unique opportunity for him, and he has not hesitated to express this through his entourage. From the club's offices, the proposal has been received with attention. The profile of the Argentine fits what is being sought for the goalkeeper position: security, leadership, experience, and above all, character. The sports management does not want to relive an emergency situation like the one experienced this year. The starting goalkeeper got injured. They had to turn to the market mid-season, and although Szczesny responded with solvency, the lack of continuity and stability in such a delicate position was felt at important moments. This is why the arrival of a goalkeeper like Dibu, who guarantees regularity and immediate performance, is seen as a strategic option. Additionally, his winning mentality and ability to impose himself in moments of maximum tension make him a differential value. It is no surprise that he was key in winning the World Cup in Qatar, nor that he was a protagonist in the Copa America and in European competitions with Aston Villa. Martinez has that special instinct that makes him shine when the pressure rises. His body language, his security in duels, his reading of the game, and his influence in the locker room are assets that any team would want to have. And if we add his explicit desire to play for Barça, the equation seems perfect. In parallel, the situation with Szczesny remains unresolved. The club has presented him with an offer for a 2-year extension, but the Polish goalkeeper has not given a definitive answer. And in this context, the sports managers are not willing to wait indefinitely. Time is pressing, the market is moving, and each day that passes without a clear decision regarding the future of the goalkeeper position increases the risk of being left without top-level alternatives. This is why Emiliano Martinez's offer has been analyzed with seriousness and depth. The Argentine not only brings sporting guarantees, but his recruitment would be a statement of intent. Barça is not settling. It wants to strengthen all its lines with players of character and hierarchy. Of course, the operation will not be without competition. Important clubs in European football have also inquired about him. One of them is Manchester United, which is going through a period of doubt with its current starting goalkeeper and would be ready to enter the race. However, this is where Barça can take the advantage. Dibu wants to play in Spain, and in Spanish football, there is no institution more attractive, with as much history and projection, as Barça. Its sporting model, its footballing identity, and the project under construction are weighty reasons for any footballer hungry for glory. The supporters also play a role in this type of decision, and there is no doubt that the figure of Emiliano Martinez would spark passion among the Blaugrana supporters. His defiant attitude, his intensity in every match, his commitment, and that unique ability to become a hero in extreme situations make him a charismatic and respected profile. In modern football, where emotions often seem to dilute, Dibu embodies the essence of the sport: total commitment, passion for competition, and an insatiable hunger for victory. Which supporter would not want a goalkeeper like him defending the club's goal? Moreover, His arrival would serve to consolidate a more solid defensive structure. Having a goalkeeper who transmits confidence and commands with authority from the back is key to building a strong team. The defense needs to know that behind them is someone who resolves situations with personality and efficiency. In great teams, titles are built from the back, and having a goalkeeper of Dibu's level and mentality would be essential in the quest for new successes. From a contractual point of view, his situation is manageable. Although he has a link with Aston Villa, the player's predisposition to leave could facilitate an agreement beneficial to all parties. Barça is attentive to every detail, and if the conditions are adequate, it is not ruled out that formal negotiations will be activated in the coming weeks. The goal is clear: to secure the goalkeeper position with a guaranteed name, without depending on improvisations or temporary solutions. The recruitment of Emiliano Martinez would also have an important symbolic component. He experiences every match as a final, and that, in a club with the demands of Barça, is pure gold. For all these reasons, from this space, we want to pose a question to the Cule community. What do you think about the possibility of seeing Dibu Martinez defending our goal? Do you think he is the recruitment the team needs to secure the goalkeeper position with security and ambition? Does the idea of seeing a goalkeeper with this character and commitment leading from the back excite you? The debate is open, and the opinion of the supporters has always been a vital part of the club's pulse. The second piece of news concerns an important decision in our club. The possibility of seeing Jack Grealish in Barça colours has stirred a silent emotion within the club's offices. It was an unexpected offer, but not one that was immediately dismissed. The English footballer, media recognized with international status and accustomed to the spotlight of the European elite, was proposed to the Catalan club by his entourage, who are urgently seeking a new destination for a player who, despite his talent, has failed to establish himself at Manchester City. In other times, a figure like his would have been welcomed with open arms without much question, especially if the price was accessible. However, times have changed at the club, and with them, the way decisions are made. Hansi Flick, the new coach of the Blaugrana team, has been categorical: the operation must be blocked. The German technician received the offer with courtesy, listened attentively to the arguments, reviewed the reports, requested audiovisual material, and consulted with his work team. It was not an impulsive decision, nor one closed at the first mention of the name. Rather, it was a thorough analysis, marked by a clear vision of what he wants to build. Flick does not want stars that shine on their own. He wants functional structures, well-oiled collective mechanisms, and footballers who meet both the tactical demands and the level of commitment that his method requires. And Jack Grealish, despite his notoriety, does not fit into this model. The proposal came at a time of definitions. The club is working intensely to reconfigure its squad and balance its resources, seeking to maintain competitiveness without mortgaging the future. In this context, betting on a player like Grealish, with a high salary, questionable recent performances, and uncertain adaptation to Spanish football, represented a risk difficult to justify. No matter how attractive his name seems in the headlines, the sporting doubts and figures weighed too heavily. From England, the footballer's entourage has acknowledged that Grealish is willing to leave Manchester City in search of a new experience far from the Premier League. He has failed to establish himself as an undisputed starter in Guardiola's scheme, and his role has diminished over the months. The media pressure, criticism of his performances, and the constant demands of English football have convinced him that he needs a change of scenery. The Spanish league, with a different pace and high but nuanced exposure, presented itself as an interesting alternative. And among all possible destinations, Barça was one of the priorities for his entourage. It is no surprise that his name reached the Blaugrana offices. The relationship of certain agents with club members, added to the historical attraction that the great Spanish clubs exert on players from the United Kingdom, made this possibility an attractive option for all parties. However, when an operation is based more on opportunity than necessity, there is a risk of making erroneous decisions. And Hansi Flick, who has taken on his role with a low profile but absolute determination, knows this very well. His refusal was not emotional nor guided by prejudices. It was tactical, structural, and prospective. There is no room for improvisation in his work plan. The coach's vision is clear. He needs committed players, physically available, adaptable to multiple registers, and above all, aligned with the pace and transitions that his model demands. Flick values quality as much as commitment. In his system, each player has a precise function. Freedoms are earned, not given. And Grealish, with his more measured style, his tendency towards individualistic play, and his irregular physical history did not meet the parameters. It's not that Flick denies his talent. He simply understands that it is not what the club needs right now. From within the club, some saw the possibility of adding a player with a name and track record favorably. In the corridors of football, the temptation of media recruitment is always latent, and even more so when it comes as a market offer. But the era of impulsive decisions seems to be over. Today, the project is built with technical criteria. Every move is studied. The priority is not to recruit for the sake of recruiting, but to succeed. Grealish has talent, without a doubt. His ball control, short dribbling, ability to generate fouls in key areas of the field, and mid-range shooting are qualities that many coaches appreciate. At Aston Villa, he was a figure, and his transfer to Manchester City became one of the most expensive in English football. However, the passage of time has faded that image. In Guardiola's scheme, he did not find his place, and the criticism of his lack of continuity did not cease. Added to this is a media character that has not always played in his favor. For Flick, all this adds uncertainty, and uncertainty has no place in his plan. On the other hand, the economic impact that such an operation would have must also be considered. Although it was initially considered as a loan with an option to buy, Grealish's salary far exceeds the wage limits that the club is trying to maintain. His arrival would require adjustments, renunciations, and additional efforts that, according to the technical staff, are not justified by the potential return he could offer. Flick considers that this money could be better invested in younger, more adaptable profiles, and above all, more aligned with the philosophy he wants to implement. In parallel, other clubs have begun to make their moves. Atletico de Madrid has shown serious interest in the player. Simeone appreciates his ability to unbalance from the left, his offensive profile, and his experience. For the Madrid team, his incorporation could represent a splash after the departure of important pieces. There, the context is different, and perhaps Grealish could find a more protagonistic role. But in Barcelona, the story is closed. The inevitable question that remains is, what does the Kuhl community think? Do they agree with Flick's decision? Do they consider Grealish a missed opportunity or an unnecessary risk? It is an institution that has learned, through past mistakes, that decisions must be structural, not emotional. Hansi Flick has started his journey with a clear message. Here, we work with rigor, with criteria, with vision. And you, Kuhl, what do you think? Do you think the club did well to reject Jack Grealish? Would you have liked to see him in the team? Do you trust Flick's plan, or would you have preferred a splash in the market? The voice of Barcelona is essential, and this new cycle is also built with the feelings of those who never give up. The third piece of news concerns what Mbappé said about Barça. Joan Laporta has decided to act with determination. Amid a transfer market filled with strategic moves and rumors, the president of Barça has made a strong entry into an operation that could mark a before and after for the club. The recruitment of Julian Alvarez, the Argentine striker who just had a sensational season with Atletico de Madrid, where he scored 29 goals and became one of the most decisive figures in European football, has sparked the interest of several giants. Liverpool, Arsenal, and Bayern Munich had already shown their cards, but it is Barca's entry that has ignited the spark of enthusiasm in the hearts of the Kuhl supporters. Far from being just another name on the wish list, Julian Alvarez represents a priority target for Barca. His recruitment would not only bring an obvious improvement to the team's offensive aspect but would also send a clear message to the rest of Europe. The club is ready to compete for the big names, build an elite squad, and return to the top with ambition and talent. Laporta, aware of the symbolic and sporting importance of this move, has personally taken the reins of the negotiation, and he is not doing it alone. He has the full support of Hansi Flick, the new Blaugrana coach, who has given the green light to the operation after an exhaustive analysis of the Argentine player. Flick, with his precise tactical mindset and experience in top-level clubs and national teams, deeply appreciates Julian's profile. He is not just a prolific scorer but a modern and versatile forward, capable of playing in different positions in the offensive front, with remarkable tactical intelligence, great associative ability, and a competitive character that fits perfectly with the club's playing philosophy. The German coach considers that a player like him can offer immediate solutions and, at the same time, be part of the core of the team for many years. It is a bet for the present and the future. The impact of Julian Alvarez at Atletico de Madrid has been immediate and resounding. He arrived at the Colchonero team with high expectations after his stint at Manchester City, where, despite his quality, he failed to establish himself as an undisputed starter due to fierce competition. However, in Diego Simeone's team, he found the perfect scenario to exploit his virtues: mobility, aggression, goal-scoring instinct, and an untiring ability to press high. In a few months, he became indispensable, led the team in decisive moments, and ended the campaign with a goal tally that few can match in Europe. His stock, as expected, has skyrocketed. The possibility of a departure is not taboo at Atletico, although the club deeply appreciates his performances and understands what it means to have a player of his caliber. The reality of the market forces them to listen to offers, especially if they far exceed €100 million as a starting point for a possible negotiation. And that's where Barça has decided to intervene with intelligence, strategy, and conviction. Laporta does not want to repeat the mistakes of the past, nor let opportunities like Julian slip away. The Argentine striker is aware of the Blaugrana interest, and in his entourage, the possibility of joining the club is positively evaluated. The history, playing philosophy, stadium, supporters, and the project under construction under Flick's direction are weighty arguments. Julian is an ambitious player, hungry for titles, and he knows that at Barça, he could have a leading role, which he deeply appreciates. Moreover, the club has worked silently, with discretion but relentlessly, to prepare a package that would convince both the footballer and Atletico. Although the economic limitations of recent years have forced the club to restructure its economy, there is now room to maneuver intelligently. Different formulas are being studied to structure the operation: staggered payments, objective clauses, and the possible inclusion of players in the negotiation. All this with the aim of concluding a recruitment that could change the course of the team. From a sporting point of view, there is no doubt that Julian would be a very high-level incorporation. His ability to read spaces, his intelligence to move between the lines, his skill in short combinations, and his composure in front of goal make him a lethal striker. Moreover, it's not just about numbers. He is a team player, selfless, capable of giving his all on the field. A silent leader who does not need grand gestures to command respect, who speaks through his commitment, attitude, and devotion. And that is precisely what Barça needs at this stage. A footballer who not only scores goals but also embodies the values of the club, inspires his teammates, and gives his all for the jersey. In Julian Alvarez, Barça has found an ideal combination of technical quality, commitment, and ambition. He is the piece that can give meaning to the new sporting project, transform the team, and excite all the supporters. The reaction of the Cule fans has not been long in coming. Social networks already reflect the enthusiasm for the possible arrival of the Argentine striker. Videos of his goals, assists, and best actions are being shared. They dream of seeing him score at Camp Nou, lift titles, and become an idol. Because beyond the tactical aspect, football is also built with emotions, enthusiasm, and the collective desire to dream again. And Julian has everything to be the protagonist of that dream. Of course, the path will not be easy. The other interested clubs are also preparing their offers, and Atletico will play their cards intelligently. But this time, Barça has taken the lead, not only with a solid economic proposal but with a human, footballing, and emotional project that can uniquely seduce the player. Laporta, with his charisma and negotiation skills, is leading an operation that could become one of the big news of the summer. The German coach, meticulous and demanding, knows that having a player of this level would allow him to implement his footballing idea with more efficiency and ambition. And as the offices work tirelessly, the negotiations advance, and the rumors grow, the question remains for all Blaugrana supporters: what do you think about the possible arrival of Julian Alvarez? Do you think he is the recruitment the team needs to take a leap forward in terms of quality? Are you excited about the idea of seeing the Argentine lead the attack? Now is the time to dream together, to trust in a project that is once again moving with determination towards the top. Barça has regained the protagonism it deserves in the market, and Julian Alvarez, with his talent, character, and ambition, can be the symbol of a new era. Leave us your opinion in the comments.